As you know, I'm Kind the Genius, and this will be day 6 of our Python in 10 days, and today we are going to be talking about working with strings or characters in Python. Now, a string is a sequence of characters, as you know, and today we are going to be learning everything about strings, how to slice string, how to get substrings, how to get length of a string, how to concatenate two strings, and every other thing you need to know about strings in Python. If you are joining for the first time, that is great. Hit the subscribe button below so that you don't miss an update. I also recommend, if you are joining for the first time, go back to review day 1 to 5. They are really very easy. And I would like to say, let's get into the classroom and let's get started. And before I also continue, I'd like to say thumbs up to you for getting up to this point. And hopefully we are going to complete this series and move on to the next series, which is going to be data science in 10 days. I remain Kind the Genius, and let me know how you feel about these lessons. And feel free to like and share my video with your friends. Right, so since strings in Python is quite easy to understand because there are a whole lot of functions, I would like us to actually solve problems, real problems you might encounter in interviews or in coding quizzes. And I've listed 10 problems. We can actually solve more, but we are going to solve this. So the first thing I want us to do, let's do a little review of strings in Python, and then we start solving this problem. So basically, the first thing I'm going to do is to go to pythonthegenius.com/Python, and we are going to be going to strings right here. So we are going to review everything about string. I'm going to be brief, and then we focus on solving problems, because a good programmer actually should be able to write programs to solve problems. Alright, so let me restore this at this point, and let's just scroll down and we got string. Alright, so a string in Python is simply a sequence of characters and closing quotes. I can just give an example. Channel is equal to Python programming tutorials. Right, or you can say name is equal to Python the Genius. So this is simply how you create a string. Now we've created two strings. One of them is name and one of them is channel. How do you access values stored in a string? You can use the indexes. For instance, you can access part of string using the index. So in this case, strings have index. Index are numbers indicating the position of each character in a string. In the first case, we have Python programming tutorial. The first item here is P is at index 0. The second one is Y is at index 1, T at index 2, and so on. The last item is at index -1. So that's what you also need to know. Counting from the back of the string, you have index -1, index -2, and so on. Alright, so let's try to check str1 is equal to channel 0. So that is going to return K. I'm sure you know that. So if I right click and run this program, I expect it to, okay, I actually didn't print it, so I'm going to print str1. So we expect it to print out P, because we are talking about channel. Now, if I also say str1 is equal to name from 0 to 7, so we are specifying a range this time. It's going to print in name 0 to 7, likely 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to n. So if I run this code at this time, it gives us just the first name, because we are taking a range from 0 to 7. Alright, so this is what that is about accessing values of a string. There's something called Ascii Characters. Now, as we are learning smart, I'm not going to, I'll say you don't worry about these Ascii Characters much. Except that I would like to tell you about the Newline Character. Let me just talk about the very important ones, the Newline Character. So if I say /n and I print out channel, it's going to actually put what comes after the Newline character in a new line. So if I print it at this point, you can see tutorials come at the next line. Again, if I use tab T at this point, it's going to give a space in between programming and T. So it's going to give a space that's equivalent to a tab key on the keyboard. So those are the two you need to know. You can also try out some by yourself. Alright, so we have special string operators. These operators for instance, we have the concatenation. So this, we don't call it the plus operator or addition operator, we call it concatenation operator. It's used to add two strings together. We have the repetition operator, create strings by joining multiple copies of the same string. Let me see if there's a way we can just use it. So if we have string 1 and 2, I can concatenate by creating a new string that says channel plus and name. So in this case, if I want to add a space in between, I can just add a tab key or a tab character in between. So it says channel plus name. If I run it at this time, by printing out str1, we are going to have the two strings concatenated together. As you can see, Python programming, Python the genius. So that's about concatenation, and there's a plus sign. Now, if I print name times 3, is going to display the name 3 times, as you can see right here. Python the genius, Python the genius, Python the genius. Now we have the slice operator, which is the square bracket, which we actually have used. So if I say print name starting from name 0 to 7, so this slice operator is going to print out the characters from index 0 to index 7, as you can see right there. So we also have slice range, as I've used it, so I'm not going to use it again. So we have membership returns true if a character exists in a string. So I can actually say not if, it's just, can say, let's say k in name. So it returns true if that character is in name, so we expect it to return true. But if I say q, it is going to return false. So that is called the membership operator. And you can also say not. So is that actually going to revert it and return false if actually that thing is contained in the string, and true if not. So that's about nothing. We also have the raw string. Now I'm going to recommend you don't worry about this at this time. So in this case, you simply put R at the beginning of the string. So we are creating a raw string at this time. All right. So format a string. So we are going to talk about this format a little later when we are going to be using it here about formatting a string. So how do we format a string? You format a string by using the formatting characters. So you want to create a string made up of a number of things. So let's take, for instance, let me just write out a given string. So let's say sentence. Let me just say sentence. Yeah, sentence is equal to okay. Let me just type it out. My first car was, and specify the formatter, and it's going to be, in this case, it's going to be a string. Okay. I continue. I used it for %d. This is going to be decimal or integer or a number, years. So at the end of the line, you are going to then specify what is going to be used to replace this format you actually specified here. And you are going to use the dollar operator. The first one requires a string, so it's going to be a string, and then comma, specify the second one, which is this way. So what's going to happen is that if this code executes, it's going to replace the first format specification here with Camry, and it's going to replace this one with the value of 6. So if I print it out to the output sentence, you can see that is going to display a beautiful sentence like this. So that's about format specification. Now the complete list of formatters are given below. So we have actually used string, we've actually used decimal as well, and there are other things you can play around with. So let's move on. So other symbols that could be used are given below. I recommend you try each of them to see what it does. So in this case, we have this argument specifies the width or precision. This specifies left justification. And yes, so we actually have to move on from here. So we talk about multi-line strings. So if you have a string that spans more than one line, that is also fine. So in this case, I'm just going to copy and paste. So this is a multi-line string. The multi-line string is started with triple double quotes and ends with triple double quotes as well. So we have Unicode string. We have talked about raw string. We also have Unicode string. What is Unicode? I explained it here. A normal Python string is stored in 8 bits in memory, while Unicode is stored as 16-bit Unicode. Now, 16-bit Unicode actually takes 2 times the space occupied by a normal string. For instance, some foreign language characters or scripts like Chinese require more space to store a particular character, and in this case, Unicode will be an excellent one. So you can simply prefix the string with the letter U. Alright, so there are several string methods we are going to be talking about. Let's see if we can talk about a number of them. So let's scroll this way. So the first one you know about capitalize. So if I print capitalize sentence, what is this? So capitalize So it tells us capitalize is not capitalize. I get the spelling. Let's see. Okay, so it actually doesn't work this way. So I think it's going to be okay. Let me see. Okay, so it's actually the method. So it's sentence dot capitalize. So it's gonna print. The sentence will be capitalized, as you can see. Capitalizes the first letter of the particular string. So it capitalizes the first letter like this. All right. So center with filter returns a space padded string with the original string centered to a total width of column. All right, so this one is better to demonstrate it. So I'm going to use name in this case, name. So I'm going to say name dot center. Center requires width. I want it to be 20 spaces, and it's going to fill all the remaining space with a character, which is this. So if I run this code at this time, you can see that we have Kineton the genius occupies 20 spaces. Actually, this particular text occupies maybe 18 and it fills the other one with 2. So if I increase this to 30 just to see how the difference we are going to get. So you can see it now. So it pads the output with additional characters. We also have count. Count returns how many times a string occurs in a substring if at the starting index, begin and ending index are given. So let's take for instance this sentence right here. I want to count how many times is appears in text. All right, so let's count it by saying name dot count, and we specify the string, which is text, and we specify the beginning index is to be 0 and the ending index is to be, now we don't know the length of the string, so we are going to simply say the length of the string. So the length of the string is len text. So that's what we are going to use. So it's going to tell us how many times, let's see, count how many times, no, so actually it's going to be is. Okay, is that count how many times it appears in text from 0 to the length of the text. Am I missing out something? No. So I'm going to run it. I hope it's 2 or 3 times. So it says 0. So that, so actually I need to write it in a different way. It's going to be test, and inside here is going to be the substring we want to count, and it's going to be is at this time. So I hope it's going to be 2 or 3 times. So you can see it appears 2 times. Now we have this decode. I'll recommend we don't get involved with this decode. Encode. You can try it out just for learning purposes, but for practical purposes you might not be needing it. Now have ends with suffix begin, ending, checks if a string or substring of a string, checks if a string or a substring ends with a suffix and returns true if yes. So if I want to check if this string ends with the word videos, so I can say text dot end with and end with videos. So it's going to return true at this point because this string actually ends with videos. But if I say end with any other thing, it's going to return false. So I don't know about starts with. I think we also have starts with. So dot starts with. So it's exactly the same. So if I say if it starts with 8, I think it's going to return true, and so on and so forth. We also have expand tabs. Now we are not going to get involved with this. Another important one is find. So the find determines if a string occurs in a string or in a substring of a string if the starting index and ending index is given. Otherwise, it returns -1. Now we are going to see the difference between find and index. Very, very important point. You need to know the difference between the find function and the index function as they behave in a similar way. So in this case, let's find in test, let's find if Python occurs in test. So what is going to return is not going to return either true or false. So actually we are talking about find. Test.find Python, and it's going to return not true or false, but at the location where the index at which it occurs. So here Python occurs at index 79. So just to verify, if I print text at 79, is going to be P, right? So if I run it, you can see text at 79 is going to be P. So Python occurs at index 79. So finds the index where a substring appears in a given string. All right, so if I type another thing, Python to check if it occurs, so I'm going to say find, and it returns -1 to indicate that Python does not occur in that string. All right. So what are we forgetting? Yeah, index. So index also behaves exactly like find. So if I say index and actually test dot index, and I want to find Python, and I run this code at this time, is going to return 79, exactly the same way like find. But if I try to use Python or Python or whatever that is not there, it's going to return an error. So the index method returns an error if the substring does not appear in the given string, but find returns -1 if the substring does not occur in the given string. IsAlnum returns true if the string has at least one character and all characters are alphanumeric, and false otherwise. So let's see, let's just demonstrate it. So I'm going to say, in this case, let's try to use name.isAlnum. Okay, so it's going to be false. It's going to be false. So because name here does not contain any number, so if I put in 4 in there, it's going to now return true. Let's see. So isAlnum returns true if the string has at least one character and all characters are alphanumeric. Alright, so let's move on to the next one. IsAlpha returns true if the string has at least one character and all characters are alphabetic characters, and false otherwise. Again, we have isLower checks if the string is lowercase, and so on. So there are a whole lot of them. I'd like to recommend you try them out yourself. At this point, let's now go back to solve these problems, and this is the fun part of the whole thing. So the first thing we want to solve, we are going to be solving the first one that says print out every character in a string entered by user. So of course, the first thing is to get an input from the user. So I'm going to say text is equal to inputs. Please enter a string. And the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to then say for, let me see, what the question says, every character in a string entered by the user for car in text. Okay, so for car in text prints car. So it's going to print out every, sorry, I'm going to put this in brackets. So let's try it and see if we have it correctly. So enter a string, I'm going to enter kind son. So you can see it worked. It printed out every character entered by the user actually in a new line, Alright, so write a program to find the length of a string. So I'm going to just use what we've learned. Let me use formatting. I'm going to say the length of the string is, I'm going to say %d, and at the end of the line I'm going to say length, and I'm going to say text. So it's going to print out the length of the string input by the user. So let's run it again at this point. Enter a string. So I actually should not be doing this. The length of the string is 7, right? Great. So we've killed the first one. So we actually killed it. So I'm going to say, okay, anyone we get correctly, we say, okay, we got this correctly. Find the length of a string. I think these are easy. I'm going to say, okay, as well. Program to check if the letter E appears in a given sentence. So this one is the easiest. So let's say we have this input and we want to check if the letter E appears in it. And we are going to return true if the letter E appears in it. So I'm going to say E in, we are going to be using membership operator E in test. And if I run it, it's likely going to give us true. If there's letter E, so I'll just say my name is Heinson. I can say it tells us true. If I run it again and I enter something that doesn't have the letter E, so I'm going to say mom's so good. Mom's so good. So if I run it at this point, it says false because the letter E is not there. So what if I want to get the location or the index where the letter E occurs in the string? So Python, the genius. Okay. So if I want to get where the letter E occurs, I can just say E occurs in E occurs in index percentage D, and I'm going to now specify the index where it occurs, and it's going to be txt.find E. All right. So I'm going to run at this point. Oh, Charlie, I should not be doing this. Okay. So let me run it again. So we are trying to find out the index at which the letter E occurs, and I'm going to do it again. So at this point, we expect to have a number. Python the genius. So it says E occurs at index 10 in this string. Alright, so we've succeeded in this one. So we're actually making progress. Program to check if a given word occurs in a sentence. So we check if a given word occurs in a sentence. So the first thing I want to teach you, I'd like to teach you this before I solve this problem, and that is something called splits. So I'm going to talk about the split function, the split method. So this split method actually decomposes a string into a bag of words. So if I say print txt.splits, so I'm splitting txt into a bag of words, okay, and I'm going to run it at this point. Let's see, Python the genius. So you see it returns a list of the bag of words in the given string. So when you enter a string and we want to check if a word appears on that string, we can actually split that sentence first, and then we check. I'll use a membership to check if the word appears in the list. So I'm going to say word is equal to input. Please enter word to check. Okay. So at this point, we are going to be checking if word appears in string. All right. So the first thing we want to do is I'm going to say bag of words. Let me just call it BOW is equal to txt dot splits. So, and at this point, I'm simply going to print out if word appears in bag of words. So it's as simple as that. So it's going to tell me either true or false. So if I enter a text, for instance, Python the genius tutorials, and the word I want to check is they, so it tells me true. The words appears right there. So the secret is, the first thing you do is to split the sentence into a bag of words. I've explained that to you, and then use the membership operator in to find out if it occurs right. So I'm going to say OK at this one. I'm going to kind of shift this a bit. Program to find the first and last occurring character in a sentence. I think I may have to just shift this a bit as well. Program to find the first and last occurring letter O and character comma in a sentence. So the program says find the first occurring the first occurrence of the letter O. Okay, so let's say we have this sentence called text. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to say for car in text. Okay. I'm going to now say if car is equal to O, and we are going to simply return the index. So I'm going to say print print what? The index of the letter O. Okay, so I'm going to print the index of the letter O. Yeah, so let's see, print text dot find. I can use find, I can also use index, I can say car, that is fine. And I just put this here. So I'm doing this a long way so that you understand exactly how it works. So after now, I'm going to just break out of the loop. All right, so now because I don't want it to continue checking, once it finds the letter O, it's going to break. So let me just do this, and it says enter a string. My name is, okay, so my name is Monoye, and it says 14. So 14 is the index of O in the first occurring O in the string is occurs at index 14. All right, and find the first and last occurrence of letter O, and also character this. Okay. So I think we are talking about the same thing. So let's do the last occurrence. In this case, so in this case, now we are going to be looping from the other side of the loop, or we are going to be counting backwards. So I'm going to say for, so I is equal to -1. Okay. Remember I told you that to count or to get the index of the last item, it is -1. The index of second to the last one is -2, and so on. So let's see. So I'm going to say while. I'm going to say while because at this time we are going from the other side. So while I is not equal to let me try to do as a kind of hack. It's not equal to line of the text. Okay. Okay. So while I is not equal to the length, because the next thing we are going to do, because we are counting from beginning from the last one. So I'm going to say if text I is equal to O, so the index at that point is going to be I, and break. Okay, I'm doing it a bit of the long way, but I'm doing it so that you understand what is happening. So if I run it at this point, enter a string, my surname is Mounier, enter. So we got into an infinite loop. I'm gonna just stop everything. The reason is because we need to actually, inside this loop, we need to be decreasing the value of I. So we are going to be saying I is equal to I minus 1. So I'm going to say I equal to I minus 1. All right. So let's go again. So my surname is, all right. So you see it says minus 4. Actually, you can just say print minus. Of course, it's the it says 4 from the end is 4. It's 4 from the other side. So, but at this point we are going from the other side. So that is it. So we need to get the index counting from this place. So we can actually say the index can actually be length of the text plus I. So you're actually subtracting. So if I run it at this point and I say my surname is, so it tells us the index of O at that point is 17. So at this point we have 17 to be the index. So we are done with this. So I'm doing it the long way. You can figure out the simpler way to do it. Program to get the string after the first occurrence of comma and the string after the last occurrence of comma. The first thing you want to ask yourself is, what is the first occurrence of comma? So I'm going to call it first occur, or let me just call it FO. The first occurrence of a string is gotten by txt the find and specify comma, right? All right, so simply find this. Okay, so we have FO is the position of this. Okay, so we are trying to get the string after comma. So we have gotten comma where comma occurs. The next thing is to get string following comma till the end. All right, so I'm going to say print txt the substring. Okay, text starts from fo, okay, all the way to line of text. Okay, so at this point what is happening, we are trying to get the location of this. After that, we now start from that location. Of course, we are going to say +1 and all the way to the length of the string. Right. So if I run it at this point and I say just come, I love you, okay, so you can see I love you. That is what you have, because you're finding the string that comes after the comma. So it says I love you. So just come, I love you. So we first get the index of comma, and then we shift one space and start from here and get the substring after it. So at this point, you can also play around with the remaining one. That is fine. All right, write a program that takes your full name as input and displays the abbreviation of the first, the middle name, except the last name. So basically what we are talking about is, if my name is Kyneton Ifedi, so we expect it to display K-I Munoye. All right, so this is what we are trying to do, and this is quite an interesting one. Let's see. So in this case, I'm just going to say enter your name, and please enter your full name. All right, so the first thing we want to do is to split the names into a bag of words. So I'm going to say names is equal to names.split. Names is equal to text.split. Is split into bag of words at this time. All right, so the first thing I want to do is to take the first item, the second item, and then the last item, right? So let's see. The name I'm going to be printing is, let's say, name is equal to names. Alright, so take the first one, name 0, and name 0 is the first item in the string. Now I'm just going to say this is name 0, this is name 1, this is name 2, names 2. Now this is name 0, 0, this is name 0, 1, this is name 1, 0, 1, 1. So we actually have something like a two-dimensional array. So name 0, 0, name 0, 0, I think is gotten in this way. Alright, name 0, 0, put a period. I'll put a period. Anyway, let's say name 0, 0 plus names. Now I'm going to take name 1, 0, okay. And finally, I'm going to take plus names 2, which is this last one. This is name 0, name 1, name 2. So name 2, we are not taking any sub index. We are just taking it the way it is. Now it's going to be messy, but we are going to clean it up after now. So enter your full name. I'm going to say Kyneton. Alright, so let's see. So, we didn't print it out. Let's see. So I'm going to say print name. Okay. So I'm going to just run it again. And my name is something like this showing up here. Kyneton Ifedi Munonye. Alright, so you see Ki Munonye. So we actually have something working, except that we need to clean up a little. So we need to add some kind of space here. I'm gonna concatenate a dot space after this one, and here I'm gonna add a space, so dot and space as well. Alright, so I'm going to just click on run, and now enter your name. Let's see, Kyneton Ifedi Munonye. So I think we got it perfectly, and that is so good. Alright, so let me just say okay on this in this case. So we got this one correctly. Okay. Program to make a new string with all consonants. Program to make a new string with all consonants deleted from the string. Alright. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create says make a new string with all consonants deleted from the string. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is to have a dictionary of what all the vowels are, because that I think is easier. So I'm going to say A is equal to I'm going to say vowels is equal to, and specify all the vowels A, E, I, Alright, so these are all the vowels at this point. So we are trying to take a new string and want to delete all the consonants. So what we are going to do, if we have a string, we are going to count the characters in this string, and if this character is not in this list, if this character by membership operator is not a member of this list, we are simply gonna delete that character. So I'm gonna simply say for, let's use a for loop. You already know about loop. For car in tests, okay, if car not in vowels, all right, if car not in vowels, we are going to kind of delete that character from the string. So this is a bit dicey, but there is no other way to do it than to just write it. So I'm going to say test is equal to text. Now I'm going to be replacing the text with a new text where the character has been deleted. So I'm going to say this from beginning. I'm going to go let's say text dot index of the character of the index of the character. Okay. Plus b and dot index plus b dot b no the plus, let's say, I think this is confusing now and I really don't want to confuse you. Just permit me to just finish it and then I'll try to explain it. If not, we are going to just skip it because I don't think you need this for data science. It's just for the fun of programming. So I'm going to say I'm going to say text. Okay. I'm going to say text and I'm going to add it to the text dot index car, and I'm going to say plus. I actually wrote this before and I'm simply typing it out again. So this is confusing. I wish I never did this in this lesson, but there is no option than to just do it. So I'm going to just print text. So text has been replaced. So we actually replaced removing all the consonants from the text. All right. Let me try. Actually, let's say Python. Okay, so we actually succeeded, and that is fine. So I think we can just move on. And at this point, we have two more. We have two more question problem to solve. We did this. Extract all digits from a string, right? So how do we extract program to extract all digits from a string? Okay, I'll recommend these two. I'll give it to you as assignments. Try to do this by yourself and leave it as a comment in the comment box below. Try to do this number 9 and 10. Leave it in the comment box below. Let me know if you have challenges doing it and I'm going to help you. If I look at your comment, then we come back to solve it as a classwork in the class. So I'm going to be stopping here. I'd like to thank you for being there successfully. We've covered day 6. We are doing quite great. Thumbs up to you. I think you've done quite well. If you are just joining, please hit the subscribe button below this video. There's a subscribe button so that you don't miss an update. Again, this is the page. You can find strings and you can play around. So this is also talking about strings, a different video I made before now. All right, so see you in the next day, which will be day 7.